Okay, so if you are watching this video, that means that maybe you still have some confusion or questions about how to annotate a primary source. So here is another example for you. This one is going to be a bit different because it is not a speech like the first one. It is actually a political cartoon. So this is still obviously considered a primary source, but it shows it differently. So the first step is the same. We're going to highlight the name of the source, which gives a lot away. Keep off, the Monroe Doctrine must be respected. The Monroe Doctrine, interesting. The cartoonist, Victor Gilliam. And the date that this was created, 1896. So we have the title, which gives a lot away, cartoonist, and the year it was drawn. Next step is also the same. We're going to list the historical context. What is going on in the world during this time? Let's give the cartoon some context. So if you look here, the Monroe Doctrine. Monroe, he was our 5th president. So our 5th president is James Monroe. And he was the one, Monroe gives this speech, a speech called the Monroe Doctrine. Now, I don't want to give away what the Monroe Doctrine is until after we analyze the source, because I know it, I'm aware of it, but other people may not be. So I'm just going to say Monroe gives this speech, and during the time that he gives this speech, the United States, the U.S., is still a baby country compared to the other European countries who have been around for hundreds of years. So we source the document, keep off, the Monroe Doctrine must be respected. We have the historical context. The Monroe Doctrine was a speech given by our 5th president, James Monroe, during a time where the United States is still a baby country. And also, let's see. Yep, okay, I'm going to leave it at that for now. So now let's go into analyzing the political cartoon. So this one's going to be a bit different because we're actually going to use the drawing feature here. So I'm going to click red. And the first thing my eye catches is this guy right here, who we should be familiar with based on the way that based on the way, I'm going to erase that because that was a little glitch there. I'm going to circle him. Okay, a little bit better. Let's point an arrow. This guy, if you look at the way he's dressed, red and white pants, blue up here. If you look here, it has the U.S. emblem on it, white here. He is Uncle Sam. So Uncle Sam, this is blocking, Uncle Sam. And he, of course, represents the United States. Uncle Sam is used quite frequently in political cartoons. Whenever the United States needs to be represented as a person, they're going to use Uncle Sam, 100%. So we have Uncle Sam. He looks pretty intimidating with this gun in his hand. Interesting. Now we have these 3 figures back here. So something to know about political cartoons, if you do not already, they use stereotypes a lot. It's used primarily so that it is obvious to the viewer who the cartoonist is talking about. And we're going to see, obviously, a stereotype used here. So even if you don't know who this individual is or this individual, you can get an idea of who this is based on the stereotype about them. So we're going to circle all of them because they all have to do with each other. Oop, we're going to drawing. Here we go. Drawing. And we're going to do another arrow. He is wearing a sombrero, and a stereotype for Spanish-speaking individuals is that they wear sombreros. So that is who is represented here. Spanish-speaking countries, Latin America. Latin American countries. Okay, so we have Latin America here. Now, if you look here, can I change? I'm going to change this color. Yeah, okay, good. So if we look here, it kind of looks like these Latin American countries are hiding behind Uncle Sam, the United States. That's interesting. If we look here as well, in this sign, let's go back to drawing. This sign, no trespass. No trespass. That's interesting. So we have a sign there. I don't actually even need to draw an arrow. So let's put that. Getting a little messed here. This is where you can use select and then you move there. So no, okay, I'm not sure what's happening here. So let's just get rid of that. See, we all have technical difficulties. We all make mistakes. So this is no trespass. That's a sign. And then it goes America for Americans, Uncle Sam. But it's on the side of the United States and Latin countries. Interesting. And then we see that these Latin American countries seem to be hiding behind the United States, who's holding a gun and looking pretty intimidating. So if I had to put a purpose to this part of the political cartoon, it looks like the United States is protecting Latin American countries. Okay, so that kind of looks like what the document is saying. The thing with political cartoons is it's never going to say directly what is happening. You have to see what it is hinting at. So nowhere over here does it say the United States is protecting Latin American countries. You just have to see what it's hinting at, the figures, how it is represented. He is in front of them. He's holding a gun and he's staring at, it seems, the people he's protecting the Latin American countries against. So let's see who they are. If you look closely at these individuals over here, they have the names of the countries that they represent on them. So I'm going to click red. We see Portugal. We see, it looks like a name here. I think that says Germany, France, Spain, and I'm not sure, this one maybe Venezuelan. I'm not sure exactly. I think that's just a document. I'm not sure who this represents exactly, but we know if it is along the lines of Germany, Portugal, Spain, all of these people here, they represent European countries. Simple as that, right? It's just listing them off, so they must represent European countries, and they are dressed, again, with stereotypes as well. So these people are European countries. If we look at their expressions, look at the expressions on all of their faces. Here, Portugal's, all of them, especially his right here, his expression, they do not look happy. He looks shocked. So I'm going to say European countries look shocked, angry. Okay. So they're looking over. So we have the U.S. and Latin American countries protecting. So the United States is protecting Latin American countries from these European countries who are looking over in shock. We see this water here that's acting as like a barrier. Let me get a drawing. Water here is acting like a barrier. Right? So it's like a dividing line between the countries. And then, of course, we have keep off down here, which is the name. So if we put all of this together, we have the U.S. protecting Latin American countries from European countries. We have no trespass up here. We have keep off as the name. It seems whatever the Monroe Doctrine is, right? So even if you don't know what the Monroe Doctrine is, you can put it together based on what we just said. So let's see. If I had no idea and just based off the cartoon Monroe Doctrine, U.S. is protecting Latin America from European countries, Europe is not allowed to come over to the Americas in general, right? North America and South America. The Americas. So that's what I get from this political cartoon. The United States is protecting Latin America from European countries. Europe is not allowed, right? No trespass, keep off. They're not allowed to come over to the Americas. So that's how you would annotate a political cartoon. You see a bunch of circles here. I still use the text. The highlighting was only used for the source, but still, all of these tools worked wonderfully for annotating the source. And now let me tell you exactly what the Monroe Doctrine is. The Monroe Doctrine was a speech given by James Monroe warning the European countries not to interfere in any affairs in the Western Hemisphere, meaning North America and South America. He's basically telling them to mind their own business. This was a time when they were worried that these countries in Latin America who just got independence from Spain, that Spain would try and colonize them once more. So in this cartoon, it's basically talking again about the Monroe Doctrine, telling European countries not to interfere in the Western Hemisphere, and the cartoon does a wonderful job at portraying that. But this is an example of how to analyze and annotate a primary source, specifically a political cartoon. Both of these videos together, this one with Washington's farewell address, should give you a great example of how to annotate using Kami. And this should help you in completing your own assignment for me to see if you do understand how to use these tools to annotate a document. Thank you for listening and watching.